He was doing the sound effect of the car.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
and I didn't know this existed. I mean, Jeff Gordon said he'd never seen this footage. I didn't know it existed till a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Saw a great picture of Steve Letarte on Twitter with him being a part of that. He's a big part of that team, obviously. It's going to be fun to watch his role as he's progressed up the ranks at Hendrick Motorsports and right into the TV booth. Said in his Twitter, he said, "I certainly have a face for TV." You know that?
Did you dispute that? Was that a?
I think he's a fine-looking young man.
Speaking of fine-looking men, let's go downstairs and visit with Hermie and his partner.
We're supposed to be talking about Spencer Gallagher, especially with these Captain America glasses. Are they worth 2-3 tenths here at Daytona?
3 at least. We actually tested these in the wind tunnel. It's actually 40 counts of drag and sheer cool factor when you put these on. So it's been a tremendous benefit to our Legion Travel Chevy. Only got one lap out there before Mother Nature had her say, but the sun's shining and the wind's blowing again, so with any kind of luck, we'll be out there putting her up front soon.
How difficult has it been to wait for this practice time, and how do you plan to attack this practice time between you and your teammates?
Man, it has been difficult. There's nothing worse than waiting around all day waiting for the rain to decide if it wants to rain more or stop. But no, we got a good plan between our GMS teammates. We're gonna go back out there and get our travels right, get everything right with this, and do a little bit of drive to practice and see if we can't get together as a bunch and put some numbers on the board.
We had a chance to speak with you and some of your teammates yesterday out in the TV compound. You had a pretty interesting idea, a new invention that you had that you thought was a great idea. We got a captive audience for you. Why don't you introduce that to the viewers at home?
I thought it was pretty clever myself, I'm not going to lie. See, the one thing you can't do in these trucks is see over the spoiler and the guy in front of you, which means that when you're pushing a guy forward, you can't see how far it is to the next guy in front of him, which means a lot of times you can almost run someone over. So what I invented was basically a periscope. I took a mirror, put it up here facing forwards, and then I took another mirror down in the little cranny of the dash. My idea was if I could just get my line of sight an inch over the blade of the guy in front of me, then I'd be the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. But unfortunately, NASCAR didn't take too much of a liking to it. Something about the rule book stating rear view mirrors only, I don't know. But hey, it was worth trying, man. You always got to be pushing the edge.
We need that drawing guy that drew up the rules for this year to draw that up so we can see it on paper. But Spencer Gallagher, always a fun interview. Get back on the racetrack.
Yeah, is it any wonder that a guy with that idea would be wearing those glasses?
Not at all. Not at all.
And I do agree with Hermie. We need a new drawing guy. that drawing guy would be the worst truck I ever saw in my life. Well, we're back at it. Matt Crafton was so happy that he got to see how his truck went through the gearbox. He said, "We figured out it does that really well."
He almost got in the high gear.
Now he's going to learn how it drives, I think. We've got a bit of a break in the weather. I don't see anything that is near.
Going to be a big pack, it looks like, too. So we're going to see some good speeds. Crafton's going to try to make his way towards the front of that pack.
On board with the 17 of Timothy Peters.
Here, Timothy, grab a gear.
Yeah,
Here's his turn 3, excuse me.
There's about 10 trucks gathering up over there, Phil. You might want to watch. Those first 5 or 6 are all together pretty tightly, but Matt Crafton's got a pretty big gap. He's in a position to really run up on these guys and put a big lap on the board.
Nobody got more than one lap before when we were out the first time before the rain shower came, so looks like the weather's going to cooperate for us and have a little bit more of an extended run here as you look at that 88 of Crafton. Timothy Peters leading that big charge.
Watch this truck of Crafton. He picked one off there. Now he's going to draft up.
If he had a little bit of help, it would make it easier to catch that big pack. He's going to see if he can make his way around Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Yeah, I think maybe having to pass those 2 trucks, Phil, is going to make it hard for him to really put that big lap on the board. He's lost too much ground. But it's still going to be fast. You can tell he's close enough to get a good draft. That's about as much as you'd want to be behind, but he's really feeling that effect right now.
The only thing I care about now is travel, because I got nothing else. But the best I got for the problem is that you take risks to get tore up, you know, with the rain or the crazy people or whatever. Yeah, I'd rather be sitting here watching a wreck than be out there. Copy that.
Communication there between spotter and crew chief Junior Joyner. So basically what Junior's saying is, hey, we've got the travels. Once we're happy with that, we're going to bring it in the garage and not take any chances.
He's getting ready to be part of a bigger draft. Now you see those 4 trucks catching him. We'll see if they line up at Scott Legacy. They're actually going to go on by. They had such a big head of steam. That's Chase Briscoe and Brad Keselowski's truck lead that pack.
Scott Legacy in behind him in that very potent 24 truck.
See, Crafton wanted no part of that. Now maybe going to suck back up into the back end of that line.
A couple of ThorSport trucks. Cody Coughlin in the 13, Ben Rhodes in the 27.
Rhodes so far is the fastest in this session, running at 47.85.
And that was because they were catching Matt Crafton. Scott Lagasse knows what he's doing at this racetrack. Just runs a very limited amount of races here in the Truck Series, but he has a third place finish here in the trucks to show for his efforts.
Looking at the truck of Cody Coughlin from the back end of Scott Lagasse's machine.
And you can see that truck of Coughlin's darting around. That's just trying to get a feel for these things. Haven't been in a truck at these speeds, you know, Phil, and these things handle really precisely. There's a lot of response when you crank the wheel around, and when you're in the draft, the air multiplies that, makes your truck move even more. So these guys have got to get steady, get smooth, figure out how much wheel input they need to deliver in order to keep the truck going straight.
And I think that's one thing that our sport has morphed into is I think all these guys run a quicker steering box than we used to back in the day, and that means the front wheels actually turn more for the amount of wheel you put into it than they used to.
Well, the other thing is just the improvements they've made in aero and in the suspension. It's more responsive. It's when you have that faster box, and then also it responds quicker, you can get yourself in trouble in a big hurry when you're running in a pack like this. Look at that glob of trucks.
There's the 33 of Kaz Gralla leading that charge, followed by the 98 of Grant Enfinger in that yellow and black truck.
Gralla got a 10th place finish in the ARCA race last week, just getting them used to these high banks here at Daytona, so that was a good start to this weekend. The speed weeks, Daytona is what these racers are all about. You get a win here in Daytona, even in the Truck Series, and it's as good as it gets.
You can see Timothy Peters jump out of line there. That's Corbin Forrester, the 5 truck for Richie Waters. He had such a run, he felt like he needed to pull out the line. Now I think he's probably going to line up with some help on the outside.
Yeah, you can see a big push coming.
That's Stuart Friesen in the 52 truck, his first time at Daytona in a brand new team.
Noah Gregson from Kyle Busch Motorsports just behind in that 18. And then there's Sauter. On the inside, the 5 is Corbin Forrester, and the 8 is John Hunter Nemechek. Now, how thin is the line between getting out and getting in the draft and feeling a little bit of the way the truck is handling and being a little too aggressive and a little bit maybe dangerous?
As an experienced racer, I don't want to be in the back of this pack right now. Look, they're 3 wide. They're bouncing. They're darting all over the place. I'm going to take a look at this, and if I'm running back toward the back, I'm going to bail out. There just isn't enough. It's too risky to put yourself in this position. But as you can see, there's a lot of craziness going on.
And in a perfect world, I think you would want to get yourself in every possible position. You would want to be in the front. You would want to be behind somebody. You would want to be in the middle. But you can do that with 4 or 5 trucks. You don't have to have a dozen to do that.
Yeah, and if you're experienced like Matt Crafton, you don't want any part of this. Crafton pulls off the road. There they are, 3 wide. Brett Moffitt down on the bottom. Gregson up high. Looks like Kaz Gralla was making sure he picked up that push from behind. This is just a
small taste. A small taste.
Just a small look at what we're going to see tomorrow night. It's going to be so crazy. I'm going to wear my heart monitor. I see the drivers are wearing them. I'm going to wear mine up here because this will get your attention.
I'm going to wear a helmet. Neck restraint.
It's the 98 of Enfinger leading that line, and 33 of Kaz Gralla, 24, Lagasse, Sauter in the 21, as they pull down through 3 and 4.
And a lot of new drivers down there. We've talked about it all day long. I mean, you really don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you don't know their tendencies. You don't know that how aware they are around with their surroundings.
And especially in this series, because the drivers come and go a little bit more frequently. They're coming into the sport. They're advancing up to the Xfinity Series. I mean, so we see a change in personnel maybe a little bit more than what we do in the Xfinity or the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
You know what I love is Johnny Sauter. He was at the rookie meeting, so he heard all the questions. Matt Crafton, he's like one of the senior guys in the garage. All the rookies come to and ask him his opinion. Matt and Johnny listen to these questions and answer them and think, I can get near that guy. He doesn't have a clue what he's going to do out there.
I mean, look at John Hunter Nemechek now. He's that 8 truck. He's really tucked in very, very tight to the side of that 13 of Cody Coughlin side drafting.
And look, that's Sauter right behind him, our champion, and he looked like he was all over the place. That's just how precise these trucks drive and how much they move around in the draft.
52, Stuart Friesen. Got a good look at him on the outside. It's Chase Briscoe on the inside, that blue truck. The yellow splitter, the rookie for Brad Keselowski Racing. Leading that inside charge with plenty of company on the outside.
By the way, our quick time was set by Chase Briscoe. Almost 193 miles an hour. Last year's pole, 180. Wow. That's how much faster they run in this big pack like this.
Look at this move Sauter makes around the top. He's going to peek his nose out ahead of John Hunter Nemechek, and he's got help behind him.
That's Legacy in the 24 behind Sauter, the 21.
Timothy Peters, one of our veterans. Matt Crafton now has joined the middle of this mess. They've decided that maybe they're running up laps. Give these guys a chance to see how their trucks handle in traffic.
There's our championship winning crew chief, Joe Shearer Jr. on the left of our screen. Johnny Sauter's crew chief.
I like how you mentioned that, you know, you as a driver, you want to kind of get yourself in each of the situations that you might be in when the race comes in. I think we've seen that from Sauter. Haven't we seen him at the front? We've seen him at the back.
One lap. I think all in one lap.
Inside, outside, he's done a little bit of everything.
Oh, they're coming up on a really slow truck here. I don't like the looks of this. They'll all have to go 3 wide here. Hopefully they can sort that out.
Able to do so.
Caught him in an okay place. Some truck was able to go up high. Crafton says, I've seen enough.
He's bailing out. Maybe he's in good shape. Maybe felt like he learned all he needed to.
Still plenty of practice time left. It's been exciting so far. Chase Briscoe, fastest, the rookie from Brad Keselowski Racing.